of ones in the lower bracket and some feisty matches in there as well as the semi-finals of the upper bracket. And we'll have the 1v1 competition to crown potentially a new champion in that as well. We've got 3 men on the panel to guide you towards our first match of the day. We welcome Fogged, Winter, and Jack to the panel. How you doing, gents?
Doing good.
You're good?
Yep.
What's going on with your hair this morning, by the way?
I don't know. They made it.
Your hair's gone crazy, dude. It looks really cool, though.
It actually does look pretty cool.
Does
The other
look
days,
pretty
they
cool.
actually just been standing it up, but today the guy was individual hair plucking.
Oh.
I actually was trying to wash my head this
you
morning.
in or something?
I was washing my hair this morning, though, and I felt like I was like, ow, what's going on? I always have slight bruising from when they pull and style the hair.
Wow.
They go all in.
They go all
They
in.
do. Yeah. Jack, how's things?
Not bad.
Yeah.
We get to see 2 NA teams here in the balance in this tournament. It's a shame that the strongest team in the NA region is not here to help, represent, but they're going to have to fend for themselves to stay alive in this tournament.
Get out of here.
Winter, what went wrong yesterday in the end for SEA?
Lack of nullifiers. I don't know. TNC just didn't have enough to close out the game.
Fun game for us, though.
Yeah, it was a very fun game.
Yeah, great comeback, Fog. That was 28,466 gold.
Yeah, that was, and we're just sitting there, we're like, they're 28,000 ahead, but feels like they're losing right now. And then
yeah. I mean, Winter made a great point in the middle of that in that they did have a lot of, I think they had 3 heroes with gold, with GPM talents on them as well. So it's kind of a little bit skewed as well, I think.
Sure.
But fun game nevertheless.
It's also how the gold is used. I talked to Fenrir on his way to the bus, and he's like, yeah, I think the gyro itemization could have been better. And that was his main reason for that.
Saying as well.
The biggest confusing one for us was, I guess, like the Lincolns. I'm sure, like the rapier, we can talk about, you can get nullified, but the Lincolns for me, I was like, I was even like casting the game, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, I actually just went right through my head. I'm like, wait.
Trouble is, though, every player goes through that, whether they're pro or amateur or new to the game. It's like, I've got X amount of money. I can buy a nullifier. Boring. Or I can buy a rapier. Let's do the rapier. And it kind of goes through everyone's head, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it is a TNC kind of, I wouldn't say like full TNC classic, but it is something they do struggle to do, is close out those games when they are ahead. So.
Yeah. Okay. We should take a look at the brackets and show you exactly how things have panned out so far. We've had 2 days of best of 3s. We had to wait an awful long time for a game to go all 3. In fact, the very last game of those 8 best of 3s. The breakout matches, of course, led to the quarterfinals of the upper bracket. All of those that lost in the breakouts went home, and instead the others advanced on. Evil Geniuses went down 2-0 to LGD, flying the flag for China on home soil. Liquid dispatched Virtus.pro in double quick time with a 2-0 victory over them. And Mineski did likewise with Optic. Vici then coming from behind against TNC with that incredible 3rd game to make their way through to the semi-finals. They'll face Mineski this afternoon, and LGD will take on Team Liquid. Before that, though, we've got the best of ones. We'll start things off with Evil Geniuses versus Virtus.pro, an incredible matchup that goes a long way back into history with many different lineups, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. And then we'll have Optic versus TNC. So that's your bracket.
Juicy.
It is quite juicy, isn't it? I like all of those. There's not a single game where I go, yeah, whatever. I actually like all 4 of those. They've all got something in them, haven't they, to look forward to?
They sure do. I mean, I think the EGVP Bo1 elimination is probably the one that's just up there for me.
Yeah, it's a good way to start the game, start the day, that's for sure. We should also talk about the 1v1s. Why don't we take a look at the 1v1 bracket as well and show you what's going on. In that, we start with best of 1s all the way through the quarterfinals and the semis, right up to the grand final where there'll be best of 3s. Now, the good news is if you're a Shadow Fiend fan, you're going to love this because it's all Shadow Fiend all the way to the grand final, including the first game of the grand final. And the loser will then pick the matchup for games 2 and 3 if we need them. Paparazzi versus Sylar. The defending champion from last year, of course, Paparazzi. Somnus, a.k.a. Maybe, which is what we call him, against SCCC. What a matchup that is. Samael will take on no one. That's fun. Like that one. And Mid1, living up to his name, will take on Miracle. Easy game for Mid1 at the bottom of the bracket.
Yeah.
Well, I quite like those matchups as well.
Well, we saw last year it was Miracle versus Artur, and Artur was way ahead of him, but then Artur kind of went for this crazy chase kill, and it didn't work out, and Miracle slowly grinded his way back in. I think he made it to the finals, but if he has that kind of a start against Mid1, I think he'll be in a lot of trouble.
For me, I think three of them are going to be pretty close, but I think that top one, that first one, Might be a bit of a stomp
Yeah,
there.
they asked
Paparazzi
him,
versus
They
Siler.
asked him about Paparazzi on the stage yesterday, didn't they? They were like, how are you going to get on with Siler? You're going to take it easy on him. And it was kind of non-committal. He was kind of trying to be polite, Jack, I think, wasn't he?
Yeah,
but that could be very one-sided.
that's the top seed against the bottom seed right
Yes.
there, I'd say. And Paparazzi obviously has experience practicing, playing specifically one-on-ones like in that own scene. So he kind of surprised everyone last year by taking the title, but it's quite good.
Okay, let's turn our attention to the opening series of the day, and it's a fun one, this one. Went to 18-4 right now to EG. If you go back the last 22 games, 18-4. What a record that is against any team, let alone Virtus.pro. In fact, it took 3.5 years for Virtus.pro to beat them in a series, which they did recently at Katowice. And I guess if you want to talk modern times, Virtus.pro have won 3 of the last 4 games. And that was why I would guess we'd start them as the favourite in this game.
Yeah, definitely. VP with the recent shake-up roster, having Roger into the midst of them definitely helped them a lot. And EG on the other hand, though, I feel like they show us a lot of versatility within their lineups. They show us a lot of different drafts, different lineups that they are able to play. They had both games against LGD. They were leading in the early game, but they gave away a series of kills here and there. If they can actually sharpen that up, win the lanes, keep it clean, I would say they have a decent shot against VP.
Because we glanced at the replay actually a little bit last night. I know you ended up watching more than me, but we were looking at it, and there was a couple careless mistakes from EG in that game, giving up some careless deaths. So yeah, if they fix up those slight mistakes, I think they'll look better today.
Yeah, they've been good so far, haven't they?
I think the blueprint for EG has to be similar to what Liquid did against Virtus.pro, because I see a lot of similarities between these two teams' priorities. You're looking for abusive lane matchups, right? Or you're looking for mobility. When it gets to a stable game state where you're just where VP has map control, or it's even, and they have to win through team fights and better decisions, I think VP has a bigger edge in that department. EG tends to have a bit of trouble with that later on. But if they can come out abusing the lane matchups very early on, as Liquid did, and keep up the pressure that way, then they have a chance to throw VP off balance.
I think they have to be a little bit less predictable, though. As far as I've been seeing EG at this tournament, it's okay, we run aggro tri-lane, we get Sume on a 1v1, and that's their key to success off the laning phase. So I think VP, they're going to read that, and we actually have a draft ready.
We do. We're straight into it today. The boys are not hanging around whatsoever. They already did the walk-ins before we even came on, and they're just getting on with it right now. I'm okay with that. They just want to get this 1v1, one-on-one, best of one done first off today. And they were both on the buses early this morning. I looked at them both and I thought, EG don't like morning games. And then Virtus.pro came out and I was like, Virtus.pro don't like morning games either.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem
Gamers in general.
Yeah, that's true. None of us like
games.
mornings, really.
I'm glad they banned the AA. And the other thing I was going to actually mention before the game started is I think for VP, as much as Roger is amazing on Chen, I think he would like to play something different after losing twice on it yesterday. This guy has a massive hero pool.
He does. And a very wide range of heroes at the top end of that pool, too.
Yeah.
Yep, we mentioned how Omni is slightly forgotten, coming back into the fray now.
Yeah, it's one of those heroes, again, I think Kyle was the one that pointed out, wasn't he? And he said it's one of those heroes that, it becomes a first round ban for quite a while, and then it slips into the second round bans, and then it stops getting banned, and then teams go, wait, hold on, this is a really good Omni game.
Yeah.
And then they start picking it again, and then they win with it, and then people go, whoa, we've forgotten about that, we should start banning that again. Yeah, it's like this weird cycle, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, his toolkit is absurd. I mean, whenever you're going to have a hero that can pretty much give you a pseudo BKB, it's going to be absurd.
However, the counter to that is to
have
pick
your
the
own.
better Omni,
Yeah.
which is the Ruby.
Well, there's a lot of answers to it. You see the Viper being banned out as well, but with their first bans, they're really protecting that pick, right? So there's a Nature's Prophet, which EG ran as a support to kind of bully the Omni out of lane. If you saw EG versus Newbie, how they handled KP's Omni Knight that game, just having the Treants run at him and take his tower, Omni can't use the heals efficiently, doesn't get anything out of the lane. And then, of course, the Razor as well, which is often seen as an Omni counter, especially in lane.
10 seconds remaining.
EG looks at, right now, just heavy magic damage, so that the Guardian Angel isn't going to be that big of a game changer. First 2 picks, Lesh Rubik. Ways to actually chain lock down that Omni Knight too before they get the spell. So I think they would want some kind of initiator so they can actually get the jump on that Omni Knight.
Yeah, or I wonder if they go the Lifestealer or Terrorblade here, although it would be well, they can hide the Lesh pick. So
Lesh is the call now. Just got promoted.
Mm-hmm.
Possible strong aggro lanes again from EG. They've been favoring going aggro tri lane a lot.
Yeah.
Lions popped back into the meta as well in the last 2 days.
Yeah, big. I actually really like seeing that line. I mean, Lanem yesterday, he popped off. I mean, and it was the best part for that game for me, even though he like playing incredibly well, was the chase when he just ran throughout like enemy base and then just denied himself the neutrals. That was good fun.
Yeah, he's taunting his way through the tier 2.
He was as well.
The lion taunt is very triggering.
But this hero gets continually buffed, right? So obviously first with Hex being buffed, and then 2 straight patches in a row, the mana drain slow being improved as well, and
the stun.
And now the stun,
cost.
the mana cost. You have like 4 or 5 stuns at level 1. It's pretty crazy. EG.
We've seen a number of answers to gyro. Again, so the lion may have helped prevent the Terror Blade pickup as well. But in addition to Lifesteal, we've also seen them run the Troll. Both teams have run it quite a bit, although maybe with that physical damage you don't want to play into an Omni-Knight as much, but then if you run the Lesh as the other core, you have a lot of magic damage as well. And then the other go-to for them has been Luna.
Luna, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But they got the Troll. Can synergize decently with Lesh, not because Lesh uses the attack speed, but you're both these like pushing heroes, and I mean you were mentioning it too, Winter. Like they've been loving doing these aggro tri lanes, and Troll it has a good matchup versus a lot of these melees.
Also don't have to worry too much about the Batrider, as this Omni is almost certainly going to be an offlaner, and I don't think VP really plays support Bat.
How good is the matchup Troll against Omni Knight?
That one's not the same as like the Clockwork that we were watching from yesterday, but
he should have a harder time.
He should have a much harder time.
I don't think it's going to be a straightforward lane.
The thing with the Lesh pick is that we've seen VP pick up Phantom Lancer against Troll in the past, and with Lesh as a core, you have really good answers to Phantom Lancer, right? A disable and a ton of magical AoE damage.
Yeah.
And they banned the Viper out earlier themselves too, so another core that kind of holds this Troll in place.
And you kind of don't want a gyro against Lash matchup in the middle. Is that matchup going to be really hard for him? You think
if it's a straight 1v1, it would be hard, but they never really, if they do have the gyro in the mid lane, they never really leave him alone. It's always like Roger having some heavy rotator.
Yeah,
just kind of sitting on the lane.
There's a Tusk too, right? So it's probably really hard to protect him against the Lesh Tusk.
They probably want to pick up Roger's hero here. I'm thinking. Could wear Shaker. Okay, it is Lifesteal. Anyway.
So gyro's mid.
Yeah. So I'm thinking Roger's gonna play something like the Shaker or the Earth Spirit. Probably the Earth Shaker. The Earth Shaker looks pretty good at the moment.
Yeah, they have to sit mid with Roger to make sure that the gyro does not get run over in the lane. This lane is, I would say, it's pretty difficult. The tough slash.
There's also the Naga still there.
I want something that has a blink dagger because you want to be able to use the life stealer infest at some point in the game.
Yeah,
that's why I'm thinking at least
the
Shaker.
Be
but
better,
I'm not sure which other ones because the tanking's already banned.
Oh.
Maybe it could be the Air Spirit, like you were saying, Jack.
Yeah, if you want to go through Roger's pool that haven't been banned or already picked, there's the Nyx, the ET, the Shaker, the Kunker.
They banned the Shaker.
Yeah,
I think that's the definite.
It did make sense, didn't it?
Yeah. Yep. They love the gyro or Shaker combo, especially on Radiant. He abuses the fact that you can just like you get the block off, you walk back, you stack camps over and over again, and you actually get your blink dagger enabled much faster because of the stack priorities.
I think there's also one more option. Maybe they go for something more aggressive, like the Enchantress to destroy the lane.
It's the Air Spirit. I think it's like the substitute. It's either going to be the Shaker or the Air Spirit.
But Earth Spirit does not do as good of a job as like covering the gyro.
No.
He's more like an aggressive hero. You want to roll in and try to get the kill.
Do they go Pugna here? I feel like I think the offlane pool. There could be a Puck, but there's some good lockdown for that and silence for it. The Pugna could help out against quite a bit against the Lifestealer. Gives them more magical damage as well against the Omni Knight.
But usually Sumail's usually Lesh and Pugna.
Yeah,
that's the one thing.
Yeah.
If he plays the Lash, then they need a.
That's true.
I'm just thinking it's a fear hero.
They need a fear hero.
There's a Visage.
Like a
There's a
Lycan.
Visage in there.
Yeah, but it's versus a gyro. That's the one problem. I mean, it's not like a horrible matchup, but Flak can be pretty obnoxious to play versus in later stages. That is like sets you like a timing. It's like, okay, we need this Visage to just run over the lanes. But
I think they need an initiating hero though. Like
that's what I was thinking too.
they don't have someone that can start the fights reliably. Snowball's not that great at starting fights later. You want to save it to protect your team.
Whoa.
All right.
I think that suits Fear. It's a Venge. So they're going. I think they're definitely going to go aggro lane with Venge, Rubik, and Tusk. Then they're going to leave the Troll on a one against one matchup, possibly against the Omni Knight.
What was it? So it's Venge, Troll, Flash, Rubik.
Lots of thoughts, but turn your attention to predictions, Jack. Which way?
I actually like EG's draft, but I think VP are still a stronger team right now, so I have to go with VP in this pick.
You know, I'm looking at us, and we're all wearing blue right now.
We kind of are. Yeah, we've kind of gone full EG, haven't we?
Yeah, but I'm liking the way VP's been playing, and I think EG might have been a little too predictable, and this is a like they got put on the back foot now because they don't have their usual draft where they get like this Dragon Knight or something for Fear. I think this is too much of a change for them, so I'm gonna go VP.
Okay, Winter.
I don't know about that though. I think they're gonna be able to do really well in the lanes. I think EG has much better heroes in the laning phase. As long as they don't give away too many kills, I think EG is gonna be able to win. So I'm going to go with EG.
All right. Split decision on the panel. 2 for Virtus.pro, 1 for Evil Geniuses. This is what it's all about, ladies and gents. Dota 2, Asia Championship, lower bracket, best of 1 for all the marbles and a place in the next round. Let's go back to the arena for Evil Geniuses versus Virtus.pro.
For years, Virtus.pro failed to be able to take on Evil Geniuses. Ever since 2015, they tried and tried again and were not able to take down EG. However, apparently, we're going to start off with an early first blood as we head into our game. Virtus.pro, they had that big game in Genting, where they finally managed to break the curse. They won a series against EG 2-1. Ever since then, they've been beating EG, even in a best of 1 here at this tournament, Blitz.
Yeah. Did they smoke?
I have no idea.
Yeah. We're going out the program feed, guys, so our guess is as good as yours.
We were looking at the panel just like you.
Yeah. So Pasha's going to pick up this top bounty rune. Arteezy's once again playing the Troll. Kind of annoying for him in a game against an Omni Knight.
What about the Lifestealer matchup, though, for the Troll?
It's pretty good because Lifestealer has to, you don't have the kite potential of, for example, like the TB does or anything like that. You have to get in close, take the fight. The Rage isn't as effective against a hero like Troll.
So again, some of the cores he's going to be kind of effective against others, not so much.
And this Lifestealer is going to be sick against the other 3 heroes.
Yeah.
On the side of EG.
And that's
Rubik doesn't do anything.
That's exactly why VP picked it up, right? They already saw the Troll, but they saw the Leshrac, the Tusk, and the Rubik, and they're like, no, we should get this Lifestealer anyway.
Yeah. And Roger already getting very aggressive onto Arteezy up in this top lane, denying creeps, harassing him. Not the kind of start that he wanted. Look at him just sit under the tower
early
with
bash
his creeps.
and the denies. Damn.
Again?
What is happening here?
And he misses the range creep.
Arteezy's getting destroyed right now.
Roger already up to 3 denies. He denied the majority of that wave. And he missed the other one as a result.
Bug said on the panel he thought maybe Roger wanted to play something else other than the Chen. And he might be right. His Earth Spirit's looking fantastic so far. The Telekinesis going to try and save Sumail here. The Fairy Fire goes off. They're going to be fine. The stun misses, though. No one may still die, though, as the shot comes out from Sumail. Crit is not able to run him down. Solo actually in tower range there for a little bit. Turns around, gets a stun off on Crit, will run away. Both cores walk away, pop their healing salves, and are back into the lane.
Would have been a kill if he lands that stun. No one going to be okay. The rotation from Solo that was so successful yesterday is not quite there. I think teams are learning after Vichi's game that Lion is a very good hero right now. The dual disable aspect makes ganking very strong. as he's going to lay on the stun, but the lift might
Crit
just come in.
runs at him. As long as they land this stun, it will be a kill on Sol. The homing missile is going to stun up Sumail a little bit longer, so he won't be able to claim the kill bounty there.
You saw what he did, Crit? He was trying to make it so that Sumail could lightning storm the last hit.
But he figured, okay, the stun's lasting a little bit too long. I'll just take this kill.
He's like, okay, I just got to go for it. But the thought was there.
Yeah. Trying to give Sumail the best game possible. Meanwhile, VP is trying to give Arteezy the hardest game possible. He is currently sitting at 4-0 in CS compared to a 9-7 on the night, thanks in large part to the presence of Roger's Earth Spirit.
Yeah. This top lane is dominant so far from Pasha, but same thing's happening at bottom lane. Like, this Vengeful Spirit is absolutely destroying the Lifestealer, even to a greater, almost a greater degree than Arteezy is. He's got one more CS than him right now.
It's kind of curious to me that both VP and Evil Geniuses are going with a strategy that failed them in the upper bracket. We have Evil Geniuses with the Arteezy Troll, and then Virtus.pro picking up a Lifestealer into the Tusk that we saw GH employ so successfully in kiting said Lifestealer.
The thing about that, though, is they were almost going to win that game. Like, if we remember, we talked to Mind Control right after.
Yep.
And he said, like, we were pretty convinced we were going to lose game 1. Like, they thought the game was more or less over.
Yeah, you were talking in the cast. You said like the third team fight. When they lose that third team fight, it feels like, you know, Liquid's not going to be able to do anything, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
They lost the third team fight, and all of a sudden
they got crushed in it.
Liquid just had to like stall the game out and just farm a bunch.
So Liquid thought they lost. VP probably thought they should have won. So like, what kind of adjustments do you really feel like you have to make, right?
True.
EG was in a similar position. Like, they were in an advantageous position in both games against LGD. This kind of strat is what got you this far. You can't really just completely swerve. That's the thing is, I think a lot of fans say like, well, why doesn't the team just completely change their strategy within one day with no practice? Well, you came in with an idea. It's either right. You've got to rely on it as the stun.
Sumail, he is dead to the homing missile and auto attacks from Virtus.pro. So a successful gank there. Both teams have been trying to put a lot of pressure on the mid lane, but it's finally EG who end up losing Sumail here without getting some sort of trade-off. Misery is headed towards the bottom lane. Ramses is actually a little bit low right now. If they could somehow get the homing missile stun, they might just be able to kill him with an Ice Shard block. But, oh no, the Courier's going to fly over Misery. He's spotted now. Now he's going to get rolled on by the Earth Spirit. Needs to be able to get a protective snowball onto Ramses. They're going to still go for this kill. Ramses has to run himself away. Thankfully for the stun from Solo hits too. And they'll just focus on getting the kill on Misery. Misery
nice hex.
Dishing out as much damage onto Roger as possible. Still not enough though. 2-2. VP evening up the kill score.
Yeah.
Another stun. Rage goes off. Fear thought he could try something cheeky.
Arcane Missile's such a good stun. Level 1 or 2. It's one of the best when it comes to damage. You almost always try to get a turnaround with it.
And the duration's pretty
Magic
nice.
missile.
1.2.
You said homing missile. I said arcane, but it's magic.
There are a lot of missiles around.
4-man shrine, and they're smoked up. Gonna immediately run towards bottom, not get spotted by this ward. Maybe they think there's a rotation coming into top. And Arteezy, as a result, is playing real. He's running. They might just run into crit here.
If they could get a kill on Fear, it would be huge. He's top CS right now, next to that Omni Knight, who's been pretty unimpeded. But thanks to the pull of crit, he is going to be able to pull the lane back and might just be able to dodge this gank. Ramsey's trying to go for the open wounds. Telekinesis, okay, now you're definitely dead. Crit, that little loop-de-loop secured it. He is caught and will end up dying for the hard pull.
He probably would have died no matter what. The Lifestealer was in good position anyways, and Roger would have just rolled in.
Arteezy picks up the double bounding runes, phase boots for him, so...
He's at least doing a little bit better than this Lifestealer, but the difference is so negligible at this point. I'd imagine if your VP, the pace of the game is okay, you'd like it if you could kill Sumail like once or twice more and really ruin his game. Because the way that Gyro works is he needs items to farm stacks. This hero's a killer, especially from the mid lane, from the get-go. Like, you want to be able to set up kills for him as often as possible.
A nice aggressive laning ward here from Roger, as he's going to see Crit make his way through to bottom lane.
Yeah. EG are doing a lot to try to slow down this bottom lane. I think they're okay with the Omni getting a lot because they know that their Venge is getting just as much. And in a similar position, their Trolls doing okay. As they know for a fact that this lifestealer has been slowed down by quite a bit.
Virtus.pro, how do they really change this? It looks like they're going to try and bring the Gyrocopter to the fight here. Ramses instantly pops a rage, and they're going to be caught by the Gyrocopter. Snowball buys Misery a little bit of time, so instead they turn on to Fear, trying to kill that big core. The Ice Shard blocks him out a little bit, but still, no one pushing forward. Gets a little bit of split damage between Fear as well as Misery. Swap is up. Fear goes for it, manages to swap in, crit, he's going to give up his support in exchange to stay alive. It's just going to be Misery who dies from the gank from VP, so a relatively successful dodge there from Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, that was excellent. You knew he was going to go for that play. He was trying to get separation between him and the rest of his supports. Vengeful Spirit, very stat-heavy hero.
Arteezy, 5 seconds till Purification is up. The roll-in from Roger will happen first. The telekinesis will not be good enough. Pasha gets away with murder.
Roger, unlikely to die out of mana. Doesn't have the turn, and Sumail is coming in for this.
All right, well, maybe they can get the support. Pasha actually doesn't have repel, but he's going to be able to TP away anyway. Roger going to be caught by the snowball here, slowed down just enough by the lightning, and will die. 5-3. Virtus.pro pick up another big core kill.
Yeah, they needed something like that, and the Omni Knight got so aggressive onto Arteezy. No real rebuttal. They do grab the Earth Spirit, but if you're VP, you're going to be happy about that core kill, especially since they were denied at bottom.
Why aren't you worried about Omni Knight getting free farm? After all, we've seen VP themselves actually run like Ramses Omni Knight in the safe lane, trying to give Omni that extra push.
Oh, mid lane.
Snowball gank onto no one, set up by the telekinesis. Sumail will be able to land his stun, but not before the Gyrocopter gets off his nukes, and that might end up a kill. Now Sumail with the double stun, as well as the roll-in as well. They might be able to pick up 2. Sumail's certainly dead. Misery's going to be caught by the kick, and they're going to try and run him down with a Hex. That will be an extra pickup. What a huge turnaround there. The Gyrocopter barely able to get off the call down as he dies, but it results in VP making a big pickup of 2 kills.
Yeah, he knows he's going to die there. He just tries to turn and fight, buy his team enough time to get back in. Very nicely done. And they need plays like that. Slow down this Leshrac, who's off to a decent start, a little bit ahead of the Gyrocopter. And that's kind of the story right now. All their cores are doing slightly better, aside from this Troll, who with that gank is below the Gyrocopter in net worth, but very evenly matched.
Coming in, they're going to land on a crit, manage to get the stun onto Fear as well. Now they're going to target Fear first with a homing missile coming in as well as a rock barrage. They're going to be able to get that kill unless Fear can swap his way out of this one. The infest, okay, the call down will land. That'll definitely get the kill on Fear, and Crit couldn't TP out fast enough either.
And this time, no one with the follow-up call down. He was patient about it. He knew that the swap opportunity was coming. If we read it, so does VP.
And Evil Geniuses continue to have that style where they just do not rotate as much as the enemy. They don't get as many kills, but they are trying to get farm with their cores. And right now they're trying to get a kill on a solo, but VP always rotating, always keeping pace with the kick back into the Lion. Lion got to be careful though, that AoE damage a little bit dangerous. No one pushes forward into Fear, but they're just happy with the kill on the Leshrac. That is good enough for VP.
This reminds me of their game against Liquid, but it was Liquid that was just constantly bringing people over to show up their weak laning phase. And VP, it feels as though they've learned from that. They're bringing heroes non-stop. Ramses rotated in mid once. No one returns the favor for him. Everyone TPs in to try to get the save. EG are just not devoting enough heroes to these engagements.
I can't believe it. Seems like Virtus.pro's TPs are never on cooldown. They are just always rotating to match Evil Geniuses, whether it's some sort of gank or preemptive setup by VP.
Yeah. This is sort of EG style though. Distribute farm on all 3 of your cores as evenly as possible and out-farm them when they go for these gank attempts. The downside, though, is that they're still getting core kills as Arteezy might get picked up here.
And
Solo with the stun. There's the finger
it's
there.
It's going to be close. The neutrals almost took the kill away from Solo, but he snacks it in the end. Now, he does not have a TP, so he knows
dead.
He's probably screwed here unless he really jukes this one out. Needs to stay out of vision. Finally going to be spotted, though. And he will be caught by Fear. Does have a couple disables. Can get a little bit more distance. Just cost EG more time before they finally claim his bounty.
Yeah, he was just trying to be as annoying as possible.
He gave away Finger of Death, though.
Ah, that's... I mean, he doesn't have mana drain. So it's kind of impossible for him to...
Yeah, true. Unless he was able to juke that out long enough to throw another round of Earth Spikes.
We
Look at that replay again. A lot of this, both the rotations from VP as well as this kill specifically, have come down to the aggressive vision that VP set up.
Yeah. You saw the creep stutter step? They almost took it.
They did.
No one laughing at that. Happy that his team got that kill. 11-5. And this is pretty consistent with how we've seen both teams play. Normally VP being the aggressors, EG being the farmers. Yesterday was not a representation of that, as Arteezy farming up Ancients. Might just get caught again. The Lion's coming in.
Solo says he will be there soon. Just hold on, Gyro. They're going to lead with the call down. The homing missile is going to be able to follow that one up. And it looks like the Gyrocopter almost solos up Arteezy by himself, but now activates the Shrine, trying to stay alive. Not going to be good enough. No one will manage to get the kill against the healing of the Shrine. VP just seemingly unstoppable right now in their rotations.
Yeah, you saw Solo right there. Pretty happy about this. He knows he's tilting him. That's 2 deaths back-to-back, trying to farm neutrals.
Good Ice Shard block in here. What do you think about the fact that VP, their cores of Omni and Gyrocopter both picking up the early stats of the drums?
Yeah.
And then our Lifestealer is not going for Armlet, actually going straight for the Radiance.
I like that a lot. It's like a good balance of both greed and good team fight early game. No one is playing this role of, I'm going to be aggressive everywhere on the map. We will get kills. We know how EG plays.
Pull back in, but that is going to be Infest. They throw it on the Finger of Death on Roger, but it's not going to be enough damage to Mail. Tries to hit him with a stun. That will be enough to be able to get the kill. Look at those body blocks turn crit. Ramses might not be able to get the kill as a result. In fact, he won't. Samael slips away into the night, and Ramses left with nothing in his hands but creeps.
Yeah, they went for it again. I think there's a ward there, but they're going to miss on it. And no one's going to get the deny on the mid tower.
Finally,
it's
it's
EG's first successful non-death.
Walrus Punch trying to get the separation with the Ice Shards. Doesn't quite get it. Blocks in Pasha, though, for Fear. Doesn't want to go for the swap, though. Not feeling it.
They could TP in a Shrine. There's a lot of different angles people could come from. But that gank attempt, and this is going to be how this game goes. EG is going to be a little bit split. You notice that all 3 of their cores at that moment, when Sumail was getting ganked, were in different areas. This time around, though, they're going to start backing each other up. Solo's going to get out of there, and they're going to secure the bottom tower likely. This is the first time that we're going to see 2 of their cores, it feels like, in the same lane together. But it's going to net them a tower.
Do you think this Radiance build is in part due to how many kiting mechanisms EG has? I mean, they've got Tusk, who's fantastic. They're going to have the swap, as well as Yule Scepter picked up by the Leshrac.
Oh, for sure.
Just seems like he's not going to get a whole lot of right-click time in.
And for some time, it's going to be really nice when he hops into an Ancient.
Yeah.
And he just walks around. They can't really do anything until the Troll gets a lot more farm. But we've already documented it, how hard Arteezy's struggling right now. As now the tier 2 bottom push comes in, but VP, they've got heroes down here. They're going to TP no one in, and that's going to signal EG to back up.
They do have some decent vision inside of the Radiant jungle, so they can continue to play around this. Arteezy will choose to farm this area.
You can play this kind of style, like where everyone's farming, everyone's getting something on the map, but you've got to make yourself scarce, make it hard for you to die. You need really good vision.
Yeah.
They've got pretty good vision right now. And VP have used the majority of their smokes.
All set up for the early game in order to get this situation where they're almost sitting with their 3 cores top 3 net worth.
What they should do right now on the side of VP is go for a tower push, because it's unlikely that they just want to waste another smoke.
Yeah.
Like, they used their first 3 to get kills on Arteezy. Now you're going to just grab towers and 5-man, and they're going to go for the smoke now after they grab the tower. Looks like they want to take a fight. Sumail's going to get out.
Okay, they know that Sumail just TP'd away. So they figure that part of the map is not where we're going to be able to find kills. Let's go to the other side now.
You're going to go to one of your 2 wards right now.
Yeah, and they have nice ward over here on the Triangle Farms. Fear is going to be the one caught by here. They just throw everything they have, even the Finger of Death, just to blow him up quickly. And surely Evil Geniuses will know about that ward now, but it's going to be a bit late, that ward.
That is the 2nd kill that area has netted them.
Yeah, it's already served its purpose.
That's Ramses positioned very aggressively. Only the 2 supports here. Can't do anything to mess with him.
And he almost has that Radiance too, so it would be a good time for Evil Geniuses to mess with him. But they need a core to do so.
But no cores playing with their supports right now. Misery running away. He's pinging again. He wants people to come over.
Yeah, this is very clear. The supports are not just hanging around here for nothing. They're not just trying to get experience. They want this kill on Ramses, and they might just be able to get it too. Misery. He has to hold on to the Walrus Punch as long as possible to make sure Ramses can't TP away. Now that Rage has fallen, Evil Geniuses will be able to collect on him.
It took them forever, but somebody finally came. You could see that Misery was like pleading. He's like, somebody come. We can kill this guy. It's Tusk versus Lifestealer. He can't TP out. That's normally the get out of jail free card, but you can't do that against Tusk, which makes him so powerful as a ganker. Now they're going to transition this into a push. I like this from EG. They threw out a different look. Ramses was playing the pace of the game. He's like, they've never ganked me.
Yeah.
So why should this stop now?
Arteezy telling Samael, bug off. This is my farm right here.
He's got to catch up with that Battle Fury.
If he can get the Battle Fury, he can really start accelerating his farm. Solo is going to be able to snatch up a Tusk kill, it looks like, with the help of Roger. Crit just instantly pops the Rage that he stole from earlier and TP's out.
Yeah, Misery's going to be the sacrifice, but that's going to allow Arteezy to get a lot of farm in this bottom lane.
Yeah.
He should feel very comfortable about being here right now. He knows that everyone just went to top, and look at the circle drawn by Ramses. He knows that EG heroes are there, and he would be absolutely correct.
Are you beginning to worry that VP, they built up an early lead, but they haven't really claimed much more? They haven't accelerated that lead, and Evil Geniuses heroes, they are beginning to recover a little bit like this troll?
Yeah, it's sort of because, like I talked about, you devote these early smokes. Of course, you're going to get these one pickoffs because you're going to punish EG style, but at some point, smokes run out. EG will start to get deeper vision because they are a little bit greedier, and now you're put into this position.
Magic Missile, Ice Shards.
I think it's fine, though.
Yeah. I mean, especially since they do have such a big power spike coming in with the Radiance on Lifestealer.
Solo.
They are going to be able to lead with an Impale. Now, he does have an Earth Spike to be able to turn around on these two. Throws Pasha onto the high ground. Solo does have a Finger of Death. If he wants to blow it, he needs to blow it now, but never mind. Roger collects it with the kick.
There's a lot of plus damage. Yep, took the 90. I was like, why is this Rubik dying so fast?
Yeah, I was like, does he have a double damage? What the hell's going on?
In a way, he does.
Lion is not to be underestimated, though, with the double disables plus that 90 damage. Can really put out the hurt. 15-7 right now. VP operating on twice the kills that Evil Geniuses had, but only 2,000 the gold lead.
Yeah, and we see this so often in EG games.
It is.
You're going to exchange. People are going to die, but hopefully everyone's getting farm. And it kind of works out for them. It's a strategy of like the enemy team will eventually have to slow down.
Yeah. Trying to kill the Sigil before he gets into the pit. Of course, Evil Geniuses are probably tipped off by that fact anyway. And it looks like they're just going to play for farming here, pushing out the bottom lane, maybe trying to get some damage on that tier 2 in return for a Roshan being given up.
Yeah, he's got the Battle Fury. He's now starting to pick up a lot of farm. He's second in net worth. Even with the Roshan pickup, still second in net worth. And with this Battle Fury, he just wants time. Get the Battle Fury. No SNY for him because the Lifestealer hasn't gone for the typical Lifestealer build with Armlet and all that.
Yeah.
So he can go for that BKB. It's going to be much more effective against this Radiance build.
What do you think about the Solar Crest second item for the Lifestealer?
I think his prerogative right now is to deal with the Troll.
Yeah.
He's got the Rage to deal with everybody else.
So the evasion part will help with the Troll, and then he could use it offensively if he wants.
Yeah,
on
the
certain
Troll
heroes.
Doesn't really want it. I'd imagine at some point he'll go for an MKB or a Bloodthorn or something like that, but it's going to take some time. It's not his natural item progression, which is why like cheap evasion like that always works out.
Yeah. It feels like a cheap Desolator in the way that you could use it offensively on somebody.
Yeah, that item gives so much value as Pasha chasing down Grid.
He does have Rage, so it's going to be hard to be able to get this kill. He's just baiting him in and has the Rage TP out.
Roger with the most optimistic kick.
He almost has a Blink Dagger, though, so even the supports on VP are getting a little something.
That's going to be a free Tier 1 tower for VP. Uncontested. EG's going to pop the Glyph because why not? It'll refresh after it dies.
Oh, they're actually going to try and catch them here. Sumail leading off with the Old Scepter. Not going to be close enough. Fear has the Shadow Blade. He's going to try and lead off, go on the Lifestealer here, but now Fear, uh-oh, what are you doing? He's not going to be able to get a swap off onto Sumail. He's going to survive for the time being, but a homing missile is already going to land on top of it, inside the call down.
Everyone's going to die
saying,
for this.
nice, thank you, evil geniuses. We will gladly take that engagement that Fear just forced for us. That is 4 down on EG and nobody dead on VP.
Fear saw everybody there, but goes to the stun onto Ramses, who, frankly, they have no hope of killing. Maybe they thought because they saw Roger up the top, they could win that fight. But Arteezy's not ready to fight without his BKB anyways. And this might just be a high ground attempt now from VP.
Oh, what a disaster. One fight is all it takes in VP. They're going to take a tier 3 here with the last track down for 20 seconds.
Yeah, this one feels like a gimme.
Are they going to go for more? Ooh, they're going to try and push it a little bit further. Go for the melee racks.
They still have the Aegis.
Ice Charge just trying to get little points of damage in here. The Rax is just about to fall, and Evil Geniuses still have 5 seconds left on Sumail. Tusk, he tries to pursue a little bit, but gives up on it. His teammates are too far away.
Now BKB is completed on the gyrocopter. This heavy magic damage lineup. We're going to see at bottom, Fear sees 2 of them, lays into Ramses, but they just don't have the follow-up. That call-down placement, you see how it just ruins EG.
Yeah, and the swap back as well gets the kill on Sumail underneath a call down and a rocket barrage.
EG trying to pursue.
Oh, that could have been a good opportunity to get 1 kill, but not the case. VP now lead by 9,000 gold. The melee rack's gone by 22 minutes in the bottom lane.
You just see the straight uptick. It feels as though EG, no objectives, no kills. And this is the downside of your style, is if the enemy team does find the pickoffs, they can always transition it because they know that EG rarely like to 5-man.
You're stretched so thin that one real blunder from Fear costs you almost a lane of rags. Evil Geniuses going to put all their hopes on Arteezy to be able to carry the late game now. They're going to go for a tier 2, 5 mana. Virtus.pro ignoring it, pushing in mid lane. They'll take that tower in exchange. We could see a wealth of items here. Halberd for Pasha. Yasha was being picked up by the Lifestealer. No one. He's pretty farmed as well. Still has his BKB, S, and Y.
They've got a gem.
Oh, crit. There was 2 ways there. Solo drew the bad luck there on the 50-50. Crit does manage to TP away.
Are we really saying that was 50-50? It's like he completely whipped, then he went all the way down.
I mean, it was either down or right? And you see that little path, right? It's literally just 2 directions. You either go down that path where you go to the right.
And VP are in such a comfortable position, 19-7, but it is EG who aren't just sitting inside their base. They're starting to get aggressive. And the gold lead isn't insurmountable by any means. And we haven't yet seen what their team fight looks like with Arteezy.
True.
I don't know if things change drastically, just because the Omni Knight ult should destroy this hero. But if they can get the initiation on a Pasha,
because it is such an integral part of the team fight, do you think he should be getting Aghanim Scepter next and just play in the back line just to make sure he doesn't get like swap shenanigan or something?
I like that a lot. I think if he gets the Ags, his team is pretty unkillable. Because you want to time it for when the troll uses his BKB.
Yeah, and pops his ultimate and just tries to focus someone down.
If you can get rid of that timer almost entirely, like by the time that troll gets the 5-second BKB, you're just going to win the game.
Yeah.
Arteezy's in a position where he's not going to get Nullifier in time, and nobody on his team really is.
They've caught the Lion in mid lane. Telekinesis pullback, Evil Geniuses, something small to work with here.
Yeah, this is how it starts. You just need to get a few kills here or there. Don't lose anybody outside the base.
They're going to push up and challenge this top lane, see if they can get a 5 versus 4 VP. They realize that, though, and they are going to get out of here. I like the Lincoln's choice here from the Gyrocopter. No Yules set up for the Leshrac, no swap back from Fear. The swap feels probably the scariest thing right now for VP, because they are going to be the ones pushing high ground again.
I don't think he really likes for damage in this game.
Yeah.
The Lifestealer just continues to build back into the SNY so that he can kite the troll. Arteezy's doing the same. He's got his completed. Arteezy's still very farmed. It's just the rest of his heroes are in pretty dire straits right now.
Yeah. So there's the SNY. We're waiting for Roshan for VP, I presume, as there's no need to risk it. It's a best of one after all. Virtus.pro have the lead. They're going to smoke up now, go for the infest, but they're going into a high ground area with the Shadow Blade out from Vengeful Spirit. The smoke popped onto VP, and they quickly backed away.
They know they're on the high ground, and they dropped the ward. Good teams are always going to do that. When you anticipate a fight, you drop the ward regardless of where you think the fight's going to occur. You just want vision for your entire team. Roger going to walk up, instantly blinks in.
He is going to instantly blow up, but Fear is going to be caught by Ramses. One man to get the bash in. Guardian Angel trying to save Ramses as long as possible. Radiant burnout on Vengeful Spirit will finish him off, but now they're going to turn instead, trying to get back to the shrine, but no one has BKB, as well as Samael's going to be caught and just destroyed. Finger of Death blows him up. The rest of the team did get back to the shrine, but it looks like our Tusk Snowball is going to die here. So Evil Geniuses, they lost the Leshrac in that fight, but it was a fresh Bloodstone. So he will be back up early, and they will have a buyback on the Tusk as well, making it 4 Evil Geniuses member ready to defend against VP.
And that cooldown is just doing so much work right now for VP. That was the most YOLO move I've ever seen. Roger just walks up. I don't even think they had vision, right? He just blinked up there. He's like, well, let's find out what happens.
Yeah, and it all played out exactly as you said it would. BKB, he turns on Ramses, Guardian Angel goes down, and then they just lose all their damage.
If they could get the kill on Pasha, they could maybe just Rosh.
Be fantastic if they can actually turn this into a Roshan. Rosh isn't ready to go yet, though.
Ooh.
1.5 minutes. That is
long.
Yeah, that's bad timing for EG. And great timing for VP, as they've actually found a double damage rune as
VP's
well.
like, sure. If there's no Rosh, EG were really hoping for that. And Pasha's going to buy back, anticipating it.
They don't know that Roshan.
Yeah, they don't know about this.
So they're going to try and challenge here, and Ramses goes on it. Nice kick from Roger. Here comes that call down. That's going to be landing on everyone with Solo in the back line, disabling up Samael. He's not getting any magic damage out. It's all up to Arteezy, but it's not enough. He can't finish off Pasha. Samael's dead as well. What a buyback from VP. Screw Roshan. Let's go to the high ground. We know that some of them do not have buybacks.
And that double damage from the gyrocopter just did so much work there.
Massive. They catch Evil Geniuses in such a small little area. The flat cannon, the call down, everything from the gyrocopter nets himself about 3,600 hero damage in that fight.
You got the Leshrac back up because of the Bloodstone, but with 2 heroes still on the ice, just waiting. EG with 3 heroes up. If you couldn't fight 5-on-5, what hope is there for the 3-on-5? VP, the good news for EG is they can't get Megas. There is still a tier 2, but I'd imagine they just go into the Rosh pit right after.
Yeah.
And the timing works out perfect for them.
Rosh just comes up.
Oh, this is everything aligning right now for VP.
And we're really seeing the biggest strength of VP, I think, in this game is the fact that they acted so quickly. Yes. And the 2 times that they managed to break Evil Geniuses. The bottom lane, they saw that, okay, a team fight, let's just go high ground real quickly. And then this last one, especially finding a double damage, seeing the opportunity to buy back and fight EG in that engagement. They were playing it slow before, right? They were chilling out. They were like, wait for Roshan. But when they see an opportunity, they play super fast.
No, I love that. In that situation, Pasha thinks, A, they're going to Roshan. B, his teammate has a DD. So there's under no circumstance you not want to take a fight there. Like, you're just going to run into EG as hard as you can. If you buy back and it doesn't pan out, well, that's okay too.
Oh, EG. They try and go into the pit, almost got the telekinesis, not going to happen. Walrus punch.
Call down
looking to be able to save Crit, but here comes no one with a repel on him. He can just focus down these heroes to swap back. He's going to be able to save Arteezy, but he's already so low. He can't really go for this fight. He's going to try anyway, the BKB, but they're just going to turn on him with his physical damage. Now it's Samael standing alone against the rest of VP, but he's ripped to shreds. Misery. That is the cleanup right there. Evil Geniuses lose the fight outside of the Roshan pit, and as you said, it feels like the last hurrah. VP not even bothering with Roshan a second time here. They're going to go straight for the tier 2, see if they can finish off that last lane of racks before RTZ is alive in 50 seconds.
And Calldown's a good spell, but no one is making that thing look ridiculous. The positioning of it, as we see EG smoked up, Ramses is the first one in. He has the Lincolns on him from no one. The Calldown positioning nails 3 heroes.
And again, VP just kind of bullying Evil Geniuses with their advantage. Pushing one hero forward, knowing that they can always fall back on Pasha.
With the clap, he knows his team is about to do it.
Yeah. Tough, a little bit scary position being in a best of 1 against any team. Evil Geniuses having such a stellar record against VP in the past. They probably felt a little bit nervous, but now they have mega creeps. There's nothing to be nervous about. Move forward confidently, VP. This fight should be yours. The call down comes through. Fear is already dead. He's just trying to save members, but Misery's going to die as well. The saving heroes are gone. Now Crit's going to be pushed back into the rest of VP. He's dead. Samael and Arteezy struggling to stay alive inside of the fountain. Ramsey wants to go for it. No one is going for it. He may die to the fountain, but they will force out the GG
Pasha
out of EG.
Pasha going to repel himself, though, at the end to make sure that he doesn't die.
He says, I've already died enough. I want to make my stats look a little bit better here. And Virtus.pro knocked down early by Liquid, which could be a bit of a surprise to some since VP have been looking in such top form. But
still,
they move forward. They take on EG.
The number 2 team beat the number 1 team in the world. That's not the biggest surprise. And VP show, EG's a good team, but VP saying there are levels to this game. They want to get right back to where they started. Virtus.pro, a very good showing from them.
The boys in blue not looking happy, but Virtus.pro claps all around.
You saw how excited no one was. I think he really relishes wins against his team, especially since they weren't able to get them early on in the season. Notorious for losing to EG. I think it was like 11 games in a row. But lately, it's all been VP.
Yep, ever since Genting, every single one of these series, I think they had something like 2-0 against EG, then a 1-0 here in the group stage, and then finally, on the main stage, another best-of-1 win for Virtus.pro. So that is it for this series. Evil Genius is knocked out. VP move forward, and back to the panel.
Curse is well and truly broken as far as Virtus.pro are concerned. They do move on through the lower bracket after a best-of-1 victory over Evil Geniuses, making it 4 wins out of the last 5 games. Who cares about old stats? Virtus.pro certainly don't. Our panel will break things down for the only game between these two. Winter, quite a classical kind of Virtus.pro game, really.
Yep. Early game, they were like pressuring the troll so much, but like overall, I felt like EG made a couple of like mistakes. I kind of expected them to have a much better early game. The Tusk rotations did not work out in the middle, and Solo was everywhere with his own rotations. His warding as well. Caught out RTZ farming the jungle like what, twice or 3 times.
No, yeah, he was definitely on point. Like in this fight too, Fear tries to get that initiation with the Shadow Blade, and then you just see Solo in the back. Hexes one target, stuns the other one. There's no follow-up.
The laughter in the booth is real. Both Roger and the rest of the team just really enjoying the match the longer it went on. And Jack, it had an inevitability about it, didn't it, from the early part of the game?
Well, I thought EG needed to get a good start out of lanes. I think, again, this is the only way that they could beat a team like VP. When you look at once the team fights start happening, once the rotations, the 4 and 5 mans, VP is so good at that. They're so on point and precise, so efficient with their spell usage. I think they're just a more coordinated team than just about everyone out there. And so unless you have an advantage into playing into that, and they have the draft answers as well for the various kinds of damage that EG can output, you're not going to be able to beat them in these big team fights.
Yep. And I felt like EG had like a lack of confidence going into the game. When I saw the gank, they smoked mid. Tusk didn't start with the shards to block off the gyro for the kill. He wanted to snowball to get that, higher percent of getting the shard block, but they end up going for the kill near the tower, and as a result, they all die. That was like a move where I felt like the team, they were not sure of the move they were making.
And we were concerned about the gyrocopter, right? This gyro going mid. We were worried that this could set up Sumail for a really snowballing type of game with the Tusk ganking in the Rubik as well. But he only died once, and that that didn't allow Sumail to come into the mid game with an overwhelming advantage.
That's why I had a lot of like thought about it, and I felt like the rotations that he failed, and he didn't put wards early. I think during the first night phase, a majority part of that phase of the game, there were no wards in the middle area, and we were talking about Solo's wards, and during that point of time, Solo had a ward in the mid lane, a ward in the shrine area which caught RTZ, and he had a ward at top. They had already 3 wards placed out on the map, and EG had only 1 ward on the top lane.
Yeah, VP overall had some like excellent vision throughout the game, but also for me, I looked at it and I was like, the draft from EG looked pretty hard. They're playing versus an Omni Knight, and we mentioned this Omni Knight sometimes is just an absolute beast of a hero. So Omni Knight with Repel, and then a Lifestealer with the built-in kind of Repel, you could say, with the Rage, and they're playing versus a Leshrac core. So the game is already hard start getting hard for that Lesh as soon as they get that, like, if they start coming out okay in the lanes. And then, it's like the Venge core. You really have to snowball the lanes and just have a huge advantage in order to take it into VP's heavy team fight lineup.
Yeah, you mentioned Solo, known by Chinese fans as the ward detonator. Obviously doing a very good job setting up the game there. But EG also has the double save for their cores. You would have...
Okay, we're just going to cut you off there, Jack. Sorry, we're going to get some words from No1 after the match.
因为昨天他们是一个0-2输给了 Liquid， 想问一下他们回去之后有没有去总结？因为今天状态真的非常的好。
First, congratulations, a clean victory. Let's ask about yesterday. You guys lost and dropped to the losers bracket. How do you feel about the performance yesterday?
Of course, we feel bad, but it's Liquid, and we're always ready to lose kind of team of Liquid, because they're strong and they're prepared well for us.
当然输的话，掉进败者组肯定是不是特别舒服，但是能够输给一支强队，然后让我们有些警醒的作用，我觉得还是不错的。Liquid 是一支非常强的队伍，然后准备得非常好。
这样的话，感觉可以从失败当中去总结更多的东西。那么今天的比赛打得也是非常的轻松，但是他们依然在败者组，有没有感觉很爽啊？这种感觉，下一轮还是要打 BO1 的。
So although you guys win the first round of the loser bracket, next game is still gonna be a best of 1. Do you like the format?
No, at all. I don't love BO1. It's super weird.
我不喜欢 BO1 的赛制吧，感觉非常奇怪。
但他们会比较有信心再重新杀回去吗
Do you have the confidence to go back to the winner side?
Yes, of course.
当然了。
我们感觉 VP 一直是非常有信心的一支队伍了。那么我们接下来还是一样的，是一个现场战队应援的环节。那有请我们礼仪小姐送上这边由主办方准备的2018亚洲邀请赛的一件纪念的夹克，然后由 No1 亲笔签名送给现场所有。
All right, some very short words from No1 in that one. But there are 2 rules when you interview a pro player. Never give them a closed question they can answer yes or no to. Otherwise, guess what they're going to do? They're going to answer yes or no. And never ask them if they like best of 1, because there's always one answer to that, and that answer's no as well.
No, Kyle would answer, I like best of 1.
Well, actually, you're right. But Kyle's weird, right?
He's not here to defend himself. Come on, you can't do this. You can't do this to him.
Yeah, no, he does like best of 1s. MVP for this one. There was a little bit of argument, I know, before we came back to the panel between, No1 going crazy and Solo doing so well. But in essence, I think I agree with Winter when he said, Solo basically allowed them to do that. He gave them the space.
Yes.
He warded really well. He did everything he could around the map. So, are we settled now, or do you still want to fight it out?
I mean, I'm okay with gaming. I think Solo definitely had like such a heavy impact with all the vision and allowing and enabling No1 to pop off. I mean, I'll give it a Solo. We're support. We have a lot of support people who are doing.
I was going to say, you're a support player. You know what it's like.
Yeah, but like a lot of these times I've been watching, like when we give like we're watching VP and we're just like, oh, we have to give it a Solo or Roger because they've just been crushing it this game. And then the scoreboard pops up and it's like No1 is 19-0 and blank, or 21-0 and blank, or 22. Yeah, like every single time. So I'm okay with doing this.
Okay, well, Solo is confirmed as our MVP. Any argument with that, Jack? Going to get involved in this fight between these 2?
Not really. I mean, you see how he usually builds his support instead of going, obviously, for that mobility item directly. He gets the drums, stats up, he gets the talent and the damage. Suddenly, this hero has a lot of burst damage now as well, which is additional value as a support. Obviously, the warding, like no one really questions his contribution on that front, and just moving around, setting the stage for all the lanes to have a good time, and then to lead the fights into the mid game.
He's only saying it because he solo killed Arteezy too.
Yeah, this guy's a harvester, and he's going with the support MVP.
Okay, all right. Well, I think that's a good way to end the end this particular matchup. We're going to move on to our next best of one. It is another lower bracket match between two teams who have showed a lot of good form in the group stages, but unfortunately both find themselves in the lower bracket. Optic go head-to-head with TNC next.
Da 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 da.